this is Tony.
This is Paul coming at you from the Friends for Life podcast.
And we're go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Friends for Life podcast. Thanks for tuning back in. If you can, help us out, go down below, hit that subscribe button. Before we get started here, just want to let you know that Friends for Life is hiring, so if you'd like to come here and work with us, head over to friendsforliferc.com, head over to our employment page, fill out the form, and we'll get back with you soon. Today, our special guest is Andrea Jaworski from Assured Health, and we talk a lot about ongoing issues in the DD field, including the way we talk about the field, the words we use, and we also dive a little bit into the staffing crisis. So let's dive right into it. All right, Andrea, welcome to the Friends for Life podcast. Thanks for stopping in on this gloomy Friday afternoon.
It is weird today, isn't it?
Yeah, I ran through the rain on my way into work, and then here it was not raining. And now it may be again.
Well, so you just got a quick rinse off on your car.
Yeah.
Like, I always wanted to take some soap and just rub it on my car right before a storm and see what happens. See if it
I thought about that too before, but then I was like, I don't know, man. What if then it doesn't rain or something happens?
Then it just gets stuck there.
Yeah.
Get a bird stuck.
I use that same concept, but with my body.
But my car is disgusting. My car is absolutely disgusting. Like it's like a dumpster inside, so it doesn't even matter.
I feel that. But Andrea, so, we've been talking for a little bit here, getting ready for the show, and, you are with Assured Health. You're big into content creation. So how'd you get involved in the DD field in general, and kind of, where has that led you to where you're at today?
So my very first job out of college was at a halfway house in Columbus. I worked with people getting out of prison. I really enjoyed working with violent offenders, but then I got burned out very, very quickly. You can only hear, I'm going to kill you
so many times.
So many times, or you smell really good because they've been in prison for a long time before you got to, get out.
Wait, that's not normal for people to say that to you?
No. Oh. You say that?
So stop. Stop, Paul.
You beat me to it. Dang it.
So I got burned out. I didn't know what was happening to me. I quit. I didn't give notice, anything. I moved back to Toledo Inn with my parents. Did a little soul searching, really missed it, wished I didn't. Got back into criminal justice for a little bit, left again, ended up back in Toledo again.
It does that to you.
Toledo has sucks people in. So then I got a job at Zeph Center, started out as a CPSD where I started working with kids with mental health. From there, I worked with a lot of kids who had autism. I did not know a lot about disabilities at the time. So I'd been there for probably 3-4 years, and that's when I finally applied to the county board, where I was a SSA, is what they call them everywhere else. And then I went into specialized supports, and I was there for about 5 years, and then I came over to Assured Health.
Nice. Well, we just had Chris on for the second time.
Yes, we had to give him a redemption because I swear he was our first guest and it was the worst. You even saw Paul's taco meat, I think, in that one. He had an open shirt and everything.
Yeah, it was bad.
But we had a great discussion. I love Assured Health from what I know about it, but you work there personally. Give me some good vibes. What do you feel when you walk in through the doors?
I think it's a very positive atmosphere. I think that everybody has the same goal, which is helping others succeed, which is the mission statement, and helping people live their best lives. We always say, as long as our people are safe and happy, then we're doing our jobs and we're doing a good job. Because in the end, that's what it's all about. And I think that's what's so great about it is from our DSPs to all of our managers, we are all on board for that same mission and how we can help people. We don't give up on people.
Yeah, that's something that I've seen personally, and ever since I've met Chris, that's been his motto: people helping people, and I can't be mad at that at all. But content creation, what kind of content are you guys making nowadays?
So we just do a lot. Right now I'm making videos. They're training videos. So I get all of the individuals we work with. They are given time on camera to kind of talk about what works best for them. What do they like? What don't they like? What kind of staff do they want? What does their alone time look like? So they can kind of train staff themselves before that initial I'm in the home training with a staff. So they kind of get an idea of a face. And then from there, we do a lot of really fun videos. Jen and I were actually just watching a bunch of them today, and there was one where, DSP appreciation last year, where she smashed my face into a cake because we were doing some giveaways.
Good thing we got a cake right here.
I want to do it again. I
Replay.
told her, let's do that again because that was so much fun. All the way down to just putting fun music in the background and pictures of our staff to Employee of the Year videos, Employee of the Month videos, just trying to do really upbeat things. I know we all did the provider challenge. So we put that into a video format, just any fun things of that nature. I like to keep it fun. And then I'm also making training videos associated with somebody who we work with who requires a lot of specialized training. So we're going kind of like step by step through his plan so that then as they come in, we have that kind of as a guide as we're training staff so we don't forget anything really important.
Yeah, that's awesome because the video thing, something that we realized early on is with the video is you can train people and you're not wasting, I don't know if that's a good word to use.
No, that's the perfect word.
Wasting man hours on trainings when you can watch it on video and they're very easy, well, not very easy to make, but they're once they're done, they're up forever. Like we just started a new series on nursing skills because a lot of our workers here in the DD field basically are nurses. They're doing a lot of the same stuff. And that's very important to us because we're like, hey, you're new. I know there's a lot to take in, but you can watch this video when you're chilling, working. There's not a lot going on. You can watch these videos and learn new skills, and it costs you $0 because that's the value aspect of it. Nobody wants to watch it if it's costing money all the time. This isn't Netflix.
Well, and ever since COVID, we started I love to do trainings. I love training people. I love to be able to talk to them, whether it's about client rights, MUI, anything. I think it's always better than watching a video online or reading something than signing off on it. I think you get more out of the conversation. So actually, because of COVID, we've been doing it with Zoom. So I record those as well. So those videos then go on like a private link so that anybody who wants to do the training but doesn't want to go through the DODD website or anything like that can just watch the training, answer some questions, and still get their credit. But then I'm able to do those videos essentially live with our staff to help with the training aspect as well. I love training people. I think it's very important.
I think you're an educator at heart. That's how I feel about myself. Do I actually teach? I don't know.
I don't know if I do either. Sometimes it's just me lecturing and hoping that please
sticks.
feel the same way that I do.
Right. I could definitely relate to that. You guys have not been able to do too many outings lately, I'm assuming as well. With COVID restrictions almost up. Do you have anything special planned? I know a lot of the people that you work with, and they don't like to sit around.
No, they don't. So luckily, we have someone who's getting ready to go to camp. I know he's really excited about Camp Courageous.
Okay, good.
I know that we have been getting people together to make friendships because those community connections are so important. So we've been utilizing our people who are vaccinated and things to get together. And we've had some cookouts. We've had people, we're trying to set up bowling right now. They've gone to some baseball games. Big social events we've talked about, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it lately because, it's very, very busy in our world right now.
Yes, that's something we've talked about quite a bit lately, but you're very passionate about changing the language, which is a huge part of disability field, not only the way you talk about things or the way you describe things, but at the same time, it's like there's so many terms and things that could be so much more simplified. And, so what's your big passion behind this way that we're speaking about disabilities?
I think that words have a lot of power. I think that words can hurt, words can help, words can heal. So I think that the words that we use in everyday language is so important. I mean, society in general has gotten away from the R word, and that's because there's been such a push and such an understanding behind that. But I think we need to take it a step further. Like, one of my pet peeves is the word behavior. I absolutely despise that word. I think it's very clinical. I think it's not fair to take somebody having a bad day or somebody who maybe does not have all those skills to communicate and say, oh, well, they're having a behavior and I'm going to write an IR. But what does that look like? Why is that happening? Like I was saying earlier, like, happy people aren't going to fling their poo at you. They're not going to hit you.
Speak
they don't just run away. Right.
That's what makes me happy.
I did do that last time I was in an argument. But I think it's important to be conscious of the words that we're using. I always have conversations with the individuals that we work with, and after they've had one of those bad days, and we'll talk about it, and we'll say, well, what was going on? Let's talk about it. How can we help you feel safe? How can we help you live your best life? How can we do that? And most of our staff and all of my managers have done so much better in being able to meet people where they are and helping to improve their lives. And with that decreases those bad days as well, because you're giving people power and control and choice.
Right.
I train people, we don't power struggle. If so-and-so wants extra corn and it's not in their dietary plan, let them eat the extra corn. It's not worth you getting hit over. And we'll do the paperwork on our end to make sure everybody knows, but I'm not going to start a power struggle and essentially treat you like a child, because I think a lot of times in this field, we take on that role of caretaker instead of just being there. I usually tell staff, you're an extension of the person. What they can't do, you do. They can't drive, we drive. They can't cook, we cook, while we're trying to build those skills. They can't, a part of our job too is to help them communicate and help them learn how to communicate. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? And how are you feeling right now? I know back in the day, they used to refer to people based on their behavior. Yeah. So like they would call people biters or hair pullers or wheelchairs. And like you would literally identify people based on that. I'm just challenge people to look past the disability and an action that someone's doing and look at who they are as a person. Why are they doing it? We have to peel back those layers to help people heal. Yes. There's so much trauma in this field that if you just help them heal or help them feel safe, it decreases. It really does when you put that time and energy into people and show them that you care.
Yeah. We had one of our guys, Mike Hayes, on not too long ago, and he refused to even say disability because he did not like the stigma, and it got me thinking. And so Paul and I've been trying to kind of start an initiative, and I think you're like one of the first people that we can really throw it out and ask if you can help us with it. But we're trying to change instead of DD being developmental disability, but developmental difference. And I think that will help create a mindset completely different from what the term or the words disability or how that's actually set. And like even with behaviors, like I call them reactions. I think that a reaction to something can be negative or positive, but there's no reason to stigmatize, because you are absolutely correct. I remember when I first started, some of the first areas that I worked in, you got 3 biters in here, 2 chairs, and like it was that simple. Like someone with pica, you're good. And I didn't know one person's name. So you are on to something strong there.
Yeah, it's hey guys, this is Andrea. This is a part of who she is while describing what their needs are, not this is Andrea and she's a paranoid schizophrenic. You are not your mental illness or your disability. We've seen so many times that people are so much more capable from what I can give them credit for. Sometimes I'm even surprised. And I think you just look past it. There's so many gifts out there that people have to offer.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, and the thing that I always like to think is like if you just labeled every single person, whether they have some sort of developmental difference, disability, whatever you want to call it or not, I would have a behavior chart that's through the roof, man. I would be that no one would take me in. And it's true. I mean, it's like, why is it okay for someone like me or Tony to have a bad day and have to call off work and like just lock ourselves in and be like, I'm not doing anything today. I'm having a terrible day. I can't handle this. But why is it not okay with someone just because someone's there watching them? Then you have to report it and make this big deal about it. And I don't know. There's so many things that go on in the DD world that I see and hear about all the time being on this podcast that I'm not like directly involved in, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So how does this change? What do we do to change this over time? I mean, this isn't like tomorrow. Like, is it down the road inevitable that we can get rid of like this naming and paperwork, or is it part that's kind of vital in a way, but it's not necessarily something that needs to be so by the book every second of every day? Oh, they moved. Gotta write it down. Oh, they took a nap. Gotta write it down. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's all about advocacy. I think it's about advocacy from everyone that's working with the people. So we started with, we talked to our DSPs a lot. You get an incident report and there's certain things in there, and you can usually tell when someone's frustrated or maybe we power struggled and we may have caused this reaction out of them for someone to get so pissed off at us, essentially, that now they hit us or they took off. And I think it's that educational piece where you challenge that. And you do that one-on-one conversation. I think you have a lot of trainings about it. I think when you're at a doctor's appointment with someone or at a mental health hospital or something like that, and they're talking about like, well, this is a behavior. You say, is it though? Like, can we talk more about this? Because that's not really a thing, because behaviors are just, it's an action. So who are they?
Yeah.
So I think it's from the bottom up and from the top down. Everybody, I think, just has to get on board with it. But it's all the way up to the courts as well. I mean, their guardianship paperwork still says who is the lead of the mental retardation team. So like they haven't even changed a simple document in the courthouses for a word that's been, taken out a long time ago. Like, that's just not socially acceptable. And I actually, when I worked at the county, used to complain about that all the time. If I get one more of these forms from the courts saying retardation.
Yeah, well, as we all know, it takes the government a seriously long time to get anything done.
long.
Well, and I think there's a lot of education for... I used to advocate at the county that we needed to do trainings for the med students at like the University of Toledo and try to get in with people and get into the mental health world and provide trainings regarding what the disability field actually is and looks like, and all of the potential that people with disabilities have if you give them the time, because just because they learn a little bit slower does not mean that they're not going to learn. It's just going to take them a little bit longer, and that's okay. And I think it's being able to advocate with them and getting them on board, because I think sometimes they have those preconceived ideas as well. I know before I was in this field and worked with any of the kids who had autism, like, I had preconceived notions about people with disabilities. I was scared. I didn't know what to expect, what to do. It taught me a lot.
Yeah, and that's something that's continually evolving. Like, we're starting to see changes, and it's like everybody's on board with this. Everybody we've had walk through the door and come on this podcast has been like, yeah, totally, we need to work on the way we talk about stuff. And it's super important. And we even we're very lucky to have a doctor. He does a podcast all by himself every week, and he talks about the medical field and how, it's not perfect either. Doctors generally will just prescribe, and I mean, they do that with the quote-unquote normal population.
The number of meds that some of our people are on.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know how they have a liver.
Yeah.
Like, it's
how
crazy.
they even stay awake.
Yes.
And I mean, I've seen people medically induced comas at home, basically.
Yes. Like, they're just like a body sitting on a couch that's just so exhausted from all these meds, instead of people trying to figure out, again, what is the underlying cause. Like, most people go through therapy before they get on psychiatric medications, but we're just going to throw meds at them. And
Hey, this is a question that I've been wondering, and I want to actually throw it at a few more people. But have you had any individuals start with CBD at all?
we had somebody before we started working with him who was on it. I know they had talked about getting him on it again, but we had said, per our rules, like, we need like a medical order and those types of things in order to do that. And to my knowledge, there's not a medical order at this point. But so otherwise, no, unless they're the individuals we don't serve 24 hours a day, who are kind of like doing it on their own and finding it on their own. And we're not helping them with that.
Yeah,
if anyone from the States watching, we are not helping them with that.
There you go. I'm kind of an advocate for it, because I think that there's more natural things that we can be doing for people versus just sending them full of tranquilizer meds, basically. Because there's some stuff in there, like, I mean, even back when I was, I don't know when it was, but I had a severe tooth pain, and I took something and I was gone to the world, and I looked at the medication itself, and one of my individuals was on it, and he took it daily, and I said, goodness, like, really? And I think there's an easier way and a safer way for us to do things, and this is not to fight Big Pharma, because we're not big enough to even get on that level with them, but it is something I think that will protect people in the long run.
Yes, and nobody's advocating for these individuals in medical fields except for us. And what can we do? All we can say is, well, we're not picking them up. Well, we're going to let them go. So, like, you can't, they don't listen. They don't listen to our DSPs when they go in. I used to work at the county, so they don't necessarily always listen to the SASs and people from the county when they go in about, like, I worked with someone when I was at the county who was not showing symptoms of his mental health. So the provider took him to the hospital and said, you need to help him. And they said, well, there's nothing wrong with it. I said, yes, there is. Like, and they discovered that he had a brain bleed. And it is because he was lucid and able to hold a conversation that they were able to find it.
Wow.
And they force the doctors to look at him like they said something is wrong with him.
Yeah. Do you think that's because? I got to be careful. Do you think it's because the medical field is just overwhelmed and they feel like they don't have time to deal with this, or it's specifically because someone has a disability, they view it as whatever? Because I see stuff all the time, like even anybody that goes to the doctor a lot, and this isn't to criticize all doctors because there are great doctors out there. It's just like there are great everyone in every field, and then there's some a-holes who don't care. Like I feel like sometimes I have experiences with doctors where they're just like, yeah, come on in. You're like, I have severe pain. And they're like, cool, here's the medicine. See you later. Don't come back. And then, so do you think it's more of an issue of the way disabilities are viewed, that they just load them up with medications and sedate them and say, they'll be happier if they can't have any idea what the hell's going on all the time? Or you think it's just a matter of they really don't know how to work with people with disabilities because it's not something they're trained for?
You would be surprised at the number of conversations I have had about exactly that topic. So I know somebody who works in a medical school and they're an educator, and we've talked about this topic so many times. I don't think that they receive education on disabilities. I don't think that they're given that. I think they see, or you have someone who can't communicate where their pain is or what their symptoms are, so they just throw meds at it. Mm-hmm. And I think there needs to be more education in that way, especially, you take someone with a disability in mental health, right? I usually tell people, throw away the DSM-5, because what schizophrenia looks like in someone who does not have a disability looks different in somebody who does have a disability, and you have to treat the person and not what is right in front of you, or not the diagnosis. Treat the person, not the diagnosis, right? Treat them as a human being. But medical schools, I'm going to get in trouble when this person sees it, but they do not do a good job in educating people about disabilities. I've advocated before that they do like a committee type of thing. If they're discharging someone with a person with a disability, get everyone to the table, get the doctor at the table, get the social workers at the table, get all of those people at the table to talk about this case and provide appropriate care, and listen to the people who are bringing them in, who know them the best.
Well, right? I don't think you're off saying that at all, because like when we have Dr. Craig Eskide talking on the Medical Mondays, he's saying the same thing. Essentially, he's saying, I'm a doctor, and I just happen to specialize in people that have disabilities. And every single episode, I think we're pushing episode 30 at this point. He's saying like we need to take this seriously and not just throw medications at people. Because I watch every episode, I edit every episode, so I know like that's the point continually over again. And he's created these whole trainings for that reason. So I don't think you're far off, and that's where I'm saying this from is like, I'm listening to the doctor who specializes in this, not just my opinion, like, people are bad, I don't care, everybody's a jerk.
Well,
I'm not just making it up.
Did you know that medical school is great on a curve? So very well, you can be getting somebody who actually got a D and they curved it up to a C.
Oh, yeah,
so
D's
you're
get
looking
degrees,
at,
man.
I mean, what, like, C's are passing, right? So, like, you think about your doctor, you probably want someone who got an A or a B on their own merit, and not someone who's just up there because they passed on a curve. So, like, I have a lot of issues with the medical field, and actually, since I've learned those things, it makes me not want to go see doctors, because I'm like, they're going to put me on something that's going to kill me. Like, I don't know what's happening.
My wife is a very big self-diagnoser for me, so if anything happens to me, I was listening to her medical opinions.
Oh, yeah, I don't go to WebMD because I have cancer, I have this, I need to go get my spleen taken out.
I've had every sign of cancer possible through WebMD.
At the last doctor visit I went to, I was talking to my doctor, and she said something about like, well, I said, I'm feeling like kind of, whatever. I've got these issues going on. And she's just like, oh, okay. And I was like, I'll be honest with you. I didn't look anything up on WebMD or anything. She's like, thank God. She's like, I get people coming here every day like, I'm going to die tomorrow. I looked it up on WebMD. She's like, never, ever look at WebMD.
Yeah.
But
it's frightening.
Yeah. You can make up whatever you want in your own head with that stuff. Don't. Oh,
I've looked up WebMD, like stuff for like my dogs too, and I'm like, oh my God.
He's not going to survive.
She's going to die.
And do you guys do remote supports?
Oh,
as well?
absolutely.
Now there's I've been having some pushback with some SSAs lately, more in the sense of historical issues for an individual, and we don't have, for one, the documentation to continue giving the level of support that we were giving, but the SSA or even sometimes the family says, well, no, we need staff in there. We need somebody there. We have to have them there. And we're already nationwide in a employing crunch, crisis.
Oh, it's an
whatever.
emergency, man.
Yes,
Woo.
it's like it's the hardest thing ever. And I mean, you can't even get people to work at factories right now, let alone to care for someone in as a DSP. But what have you seen that has helped with remote supports?
So for me, I think it's wonderful that there is a camera there during times when, what are you doing? Like we're sleeping. Like there's been no incidents over the past 2 years. This person is sleeping. So we're just paying someone to sleep, which is great if you want to get paid to sleep. But right now, they don't want to. And quite honestly, it's not worth it if you're building somebody's independence.
Yes.
So I have actually found that it's wonderful. I think the remote monitoring team is great. I think they call us anytime there's an issue. I think that a lot of people don't understand that if you're the backup provider, which I know we chose to do that for our people and only our people because we know them, that we then have like an hour to get there if there's an emergency. I mean, they can call 911. They can talk them through a panic attack. They can say, hey, don't forget, you got that PRN over there for Xanax. You think now's a good time to take it. I've also noticed that it makes people feel that independence. And imagine someone being with you 24 hours a day. You never get any freedom. You have a bad day. Then all they want to do is talk to you about it. I mean, I know when I have a bad day, don't talk, leave me alone.
No,
there's times where I shut my office door and I'm like, I just can't, give me 5 minutes. I either need to cry or scream or something has to happen because I just need space.
Yeah.
And our people don't get that. So I think remote supports offers them space. It offers them control over their life, and it only increases. I think a lot of times people don't want alone time because they don't feel safe with that, and I think that remote supports increases that feeling of safety. Like, no, I've done so well with this. Like, now I want more hours. I want staff to leave at 8 instead of 10 because I haven't needed anything, and they're here, and those different things. And I think it's just a wonderful thing that is offered, and I think one good thing that came out of COVID is that we are utilizing it more, and it has almost pushed us to help people become more independent because we had to.
Well, we've seen that a lot with, we haven't really brought up COVID too much on this show for a long time because we're
over it.
Yeah, it's over. But it has sparked a lot of changes in a lot of industries, including this field. And, that is something that is, from what I see, is great because why wouldn't you want to offer somebody the chance to be independent? Worst case, it doesn't work.
Well, and it goes back to what we were talking about with Jason from Sunshine. The way things are going, we are actually serving less people. And that's not what the goal is. Now, there's a lot of companies out here who just want the dollar. So be it. Go ahead, make your money, do what you do. But when you care the way that some of us care, at least I can say for myself, that's not the end goal. No. The end goal is to honestly bring down the Medicaid bucks that are coming so the supports can go to the people who can't fend for themselves.
That's what we say. Jen and I talk about this all the time. Like, we want to increase people's independence where they can, or people who don't need that 24-hour supervision for a legal or physical reason. So that then we can help other people. Like, oh, we've done a great job with this person. They're minimally served. Now let's take another house and help somebody else who needs it.
Yeah.
Putting resources where they are needed. That is absolutely. Wow. It's almost like people should run a business like that. That just absolutely makes no sense, right? Why would you want to put the researces where they need to go?
And how great does it make you feel when you increase someone's independence so much that they don't need you anymore? Like, that's a good feeling because you did that.
Yeah.
And the DSPs did that. I mean, I'm not out there personally doing it. My staff are, and they do an amazing job doing that.
Heck yeah. Well, here, let's go back at least. I want to go back about 10 years to when you were roughly 15. What were you like?
I was 26.
No. Well, tell me about your growing up, though.
So
were you-
growing up, I grew up in a trailer in Holland, Ohio.
Nice.
My dad was a truck driver. My mom sold some trailers and then didn't, then worked. My mom's had I'm sorry, Mom, but my mom's had 100 jobs. I don't even think she can name all the jobs that she's had. So
I know that feeling.
Yeah. I went to Springfield High School. I played softball my entire life. I played a little bit in college.
What position?
Catcher.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
I
a very important position.
That's scary.
I used to love waiting at the plate and being like, you're going to have to knock me over if you want to get through me. You gotta, I like it. I'm an aggressive person. So it was awesome. And I used to love throwing people out or throwing the ball down. I like those things. Unless I had a bad day and the ball kept going by me, and then I would throw things, be like, I can't do this, take me out. I also loved art. I was really into art and reading. I was a pretty big nerd. I got into some trouble though in my later high school years. Prior to the CBD being legal, but otherwise,
I love it.
and then I went to college at Tiffin University. I was in a sorority. A lot of people are usually surprised to hear that. I ended up being president of my sorority. I'm not a typical sorority girl.
But get it.
So, and then I moved to Columbus, moved back to Toledo, and moved to Tiffin, then moved back to Toledo, and yeah.
Interesting growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all got growing up
That
stories.
truck driver life,
That's rough.
Well, it was for 7-Up, so he was local.
Oh,
so he
okay.
didn't go on long trips
hauls or anything.
And my dad was actually coached me a lot in softball when I was growing up until I got recruited in when I was 14 or something for a travel team, and all those things happened. Then I remember my first game, and afterwards I was like, "Can you come coach me again? I don't want to be on this team." At first I was like, "Can't wait to get away from you," and then it's like, "No."
It's something about truck drivers. In my mind, I thought because I when you're growing up, you're trying to think about what you're going to do or what you can do for a living. I always thought that if I was a truck driver, I would have a wife there, and every time I came home, I would have a fried meat, some mashed potatoes and corn with a beer. That was my meal of choice for my truck driving fantasies. But
we never had alcohol growing up in the house very much, and I was 16, and someone would buy it for it, but it wasn't at my house.
Yeah.
And I don't think my mom really fried a lot of food. She made a lot of spaghetti and tacos, and we ordered a lot of pizza.
So you just destroyed every one of my concepts. Right
Yeah.
there.
But then again, he was not a long haul trucker, so
Yeah,
no.
that job always scared me. I was like, I don't want to do that. That sounds awful.
Well,
Just driving.
the pulling your hand down
Yeah.
was always the cool thing.
I used to love to
wanna
do
hear the air
that. My
horn.
cousin and I used to do that. Oh yeah, they did it.
I always thought that it would be cool, and then I met a truck driver, and he was like, "Dude, this job is not what you want to do. Trust me." I was like, "Okay, well, we'll check that one off the list." Isn't it weird growing up though when you think about they only give you so many options in school. They're like, do you want to be a doctor or a police officer or a truck driver or
fireman?
I got when I did those tests, in high school that tell you what you're supposed to be when you grow up. Mm-hmm. I got a landscaper. I was like, well, this sucks. I already worked in landscaping in high school. I was like, I don't want to do this. I hate doing this. Why would my test tell me that I want to be a landscaper? It was landscaper or medical. And I was like, neither of them I want to do.
Yeah.
And how I'm here right now makes absolutely no sense. I don't get it.
I think if you would have been a landscaper, I would have laughed.
Yeah.
You just don't look like a landscaper to me.
I'm a little too tall, I think. But
Well, I wanted to be a defense attorney. That's what I wanted to do. And I used to read serial killer books when I was in high school.
So that means you were a Law and Order fan,
yeah,
too.
I studied forensic psychology in college. My mom used to think that the FBI was tracking me because I was constantly oh, look at that book on Dahmer. Can I get it?
Yeah, you got a red flag somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's a wild life we lead.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Yeah. So now I know about the past. What about your future? Where are you trying to head personally?
So I recently got engaged to somebody who I've been dating for 7 years. So it was expected, not expected. It wasn't a romantic proposal. So don't ask. We're not romantic people.
I turned over in the bed to my wife. Still to this day, she says I owe her a true proposal. But I just turned over and said, hey, you want to get married?
Yeah. We were out to dinner and he was like, hey, do you want to get married? I was like, yeah. So he gave me a ring. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, and that fits me because I'm not like I don't want
Super
everyone to be like,
cheesy and
oh,
stuff.
and like clapping in a restaurant. And I'm good. Don't
You
put
have
me
a
on
fantasize like about like just being at the restaurant in tuxedos and like a red dress, just like
No, yeah.
oh my god, they're doing
Yes.
it. It's so beautiful. I don't think that really happens. People are just like,
Nowadays, I just see people getting like they're getting denied. It's sad. It was like some guy was at a baseball game and dropped to a knee.
She's like, no.
Yeah, like, oh, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
that's a no for me.
So I think in like 2 or 3 years, the plan is for him to get a job somewhere else, and then we're going to move kind of like wherever he goes. He
Okay.
works in the medical field. So, and I want to stay in this field. I want to continue to do what I do. So what that looks like in terms of like Assured Health or other agencies and stuff, that is unknown at the moment. But I got 2 to 3 years to continue changing Lucas County's perception of people with disabilities.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We're trying to do the same thing over
Yes.
here. So
Yes.
congrats on having such an ambitious goal. What do you think about, we haven't talked about this in a while, what do you think about that mayor's initiative on the disability office or whatever? I forget what it's called at this point. Like, it was a big thing all of a sudden, and then I never heard
No.
anything about it
Lord.
ever again. It was like, we're doing this, and then it was like,
We did it.
I guess.
Yeah, like who's
Yes,
there? I'm curious as to who's working in it. What's their experience? I was thinking, I was like, oh man, I wonder how I get in contact with them so we can really talk about what the issues are in this field and how we can like support one another and support people and what's really needed. The mayor
say it.
watches this. I get so disappointed in our mayor sometimes because like I think we bite off a lot and we talk a lot and we talk a big game, and I think it happens everywhere in politics, but then it's like it falls flat. Like, where are we at with this? Like, the same with the roads. Like, when are they going to be done and not under construction? This has to be a scam. Like, there has to be a scam running. The mafia's running it. We're paying. I don't know what it looks like, but, you know, I
You
feel
have
like
read a lot
there's
of
no
crime
follow
books.
through. Absolutely. I always go to the crime. Every
Always
time
mafia.
I'll be in the office and I'm like, you know how easy it would be to do this or that. And like, and Jen's always like, what's wrong with you? I don't think that way. And I'm like, well, I think like a criminal. I can't help it. That's just.
Actually, that's kind of
Where
what
it goes.
management does
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Like, I used to lead a lot of my trainings and stuff, especially interviews. Like, look, if you're going to come here and actually do the right thing, you'll be good.
Yes.
I've done enough bad for the both of us to
Yes.
know that, yeah, you're going to try to cheat here,
Yeah.
and here. Just don't do it, and we'll
Yeah,
be good.
It's not worth it.
Not at all.
Just do your job.
Right.
Yeah, with
right.
that mayor's initiative, it's
It's disappointing in my opinion. It was a little disappointing.
I'm just like Paul said, you know, we're not hearing anything else about it, and it doesn't seem to be moving forward. And in order for things, I guess in my eyes, to move forward, I need to actually see some
movement.
yeah.
I feel like they saw what the budget was to make Toledo the most disability friendly city in the world. And we're like, yeah, we can't do that. We'll put a ramp here. Like we'll widen this doorway, you know, and they do things like that. And
Yeah,
they don't know what the reality is.
We had Catherine Hunt on, you know, and she was a part of it. And I guess let's not beat a dead horse. Hopefully we can see some new things coming in the very near future.
Yes, it would be nice to see some big changes. I mean, it's going to put us on the map eventually. I think it's just things move so slowly. But
I want to see them do what Wood County did with that playground, that accessible, disability-friendly, sensory-friendly playground. Like, why? That's something that's so simple.
Which is so awesome because we just had a wonderful guest on in discussion of that.
Actually, someone I went to high school with actually had a hand in creating that
Oh,
as
nice.
well. So it's very nice to see it from like kind of like the beginning to the end.
yeah, we
for
had
her.
some secret behind the scenes info on that, and there will be more coming
Good.
from what I understand.
Well, good
at
for
least
Wood
in Wood
County.
County.
I'll
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
taking people to Wood County then. Like,
There you go.
Sorry, Toledo, you're losing our business.
Like, come on, let's do better.
We're going to go to that disability-friendly restaurant in Wood County today.
That's a thing. Oh, cool. But so I think this brings us to one of our favorite parts of the show, which you said you've watched our podcast before.
I have.
So I think that you know what's
Rapid?
coming.
Is this rapid fire?
Rapid fire.
Yeah. I do
We've
that.
got to watch her, everyone.
The first person who's ever watched our podcast.
Subscribers,
welcome.
1.
That's what you guys get for not knowing what to expect.
Yeah, right.
exactly.
Well, as you know, this is more of a would you rather, and I have some interesting questions for you.
Okay, be
boy.
ready for
All
this
right.
because I might have interesting responses.
That's what we hope.
Those are the best ones. Would you rather have a brain freeze for a day or a fever for a week?
A fever for a week
Why would you choose to be hot?
because I would lose weight.
Technically, you're right, I believe.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a week. That's not just a day.
Yeah,
like
every
okay.
time I've had the flu or something, I've dropped at
Yeah.
least 7 to 10
yeah,
pounds.
it gets out of
I
there.
come back looking like skeleton.
All that water weight comes out.
Yeah, right. It boils out.
Having brain freeze for a week would hurt really
Oh
bad.
yeah, that would be
no,
awful.
that's just for a day.
Oh, a day,
I
a
would
day.
not
I'm sorry.
put it. I would not subject anyone.
That would still
for
hurt
it.
pretty bad.
That would be pretty
It
bad.
would. Would you rather kick a baby panda or smack a sea otter? They're both very cute.
Oh my god, I think I'd rather smack a sea otter.
You
'cause
are horrible.
I don't want to traumatize that baby against people for the rest of its life. They're gonna like kill it because like it ends up killing someone because I kicked it.
You know, pandas can be quite aggressive.
Yeah.
To
So
my
can
knowledge.
sea otters.
Man, they look so cute.
I feel
They're
like I would
huge.
just like smack
but
it and
they
run.
cute. Just
Like you didn't say I had to smack it hard. It's like I can run away.
Did you know we have otters around here in the Toledo area?
No,
No.
we don't.
Yeah, we do.
Where?
One was just run over like on the what is it? The Wood County side of the Maumee River over in like outside of Perrysburg.
People need to
Really?
stop getting exotic animals. This is your PSA.
No, they're-
Stop getting the animals.
They are from around here like
Are you kidding
historically,
me?
but they're just population's super low because we suck as humans. That's what.
Yeah,
I
we
get
do
it.
Sorry, that's
suck.
my like nature nerd
Oh,
background.
we can
popping
do
out.
another podcast on how we treat the environment
Environment. We
anytime
have-
you want.
We have beavers too.
Really?
I think I heard
Very
about
rare,
the beavers.
very rare, but they are around.
Do
here.
we secretly have bears somewhere in
No.
Ohio? Okay.
Go to
We
Michigan.
used
though.
to. About 3 hours south and 3 hours north, you can find them.
There you go.
We wiped them out. a long
Of course
time ago.
we did.
But anyway, I'm
That's
sorry.
what we did.
I couldn't help myself there.
All right. Would you rather stick your tongue to a cold pole or hold a molten golf ball for 5 seconds?
I'll stick my tongue to the frozen pole because someone can pour warm water on it to get me off instead of me blistering up my hands that I later have to use that are going to be sore for a while.
See, I keep telling you, I need to make these more specific because I would have said with no one around and you just sitting there like the kid
Oh, yeah. See?
off a Christmas story.
You want to hear a really dumb story?
Did
yes,
you do
please.
that?
I love it. Does it involve you?
It involves me.
Okay.
When I was a very young child, my uncle took me to see Dumb and Dumber. And he licks the ski pole on the frozen ski pole on the lift, and his tongue was like super stretchy. And I was like, I don't think that's real. So we went to the store the next day with my parents, and we were in the freezer section, and I stuck my tongue on the freezer to see if it would do that, and it ripped half of my tongue off. And my parents were so mad.
Oh, God.
Stop it.
I really did that. I was like little. I was like maybe 6.
You probably can't
remember
taste
it.
anything. That's why you drink such crappy coffee.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, he drinks horrible coffee. It like
I don't
has-
know. We might disagree because he said earlier he makes it really strong, and I'm down with that.
You down with the super?
I'm down with the super
Dude,
strong coffee. I drink it all
Coffee
day.
is meant to, I'm in the camp of coffee is not meant to be like this enjoyable, delicious beverage with cream and all this crap in it. Coffee is meant to wake you up. And I'm always if 1 is good, then 5 is better kind of guy. Mm-hmm. Even though that's probably the worst advice you can give
Definitely.
anyone.
Yeah.
So like if 1 scoop of coffee is good, 5 scoops of coffee in the morning is better.
Well, and it doesn't even wake me up because I think I have ADHD, self-diagnosed, not WebMD,
I'm right there
just
with you.
whatever. And if you drink coffee and like Mountain Dew and stuff like that, it's supposed to like kind of calm you down and stuff. So I think I drink it to keep other people safe around me.
Yeah.
I feel you there.
Oh
But
my goodness.
yes, coffee is one of my favorite beverages, but that's a whole nother podcast. I could have
Yeah.
50 podcasts about 50 different topics.
I just finished all mine, and if
It's
I do
sad.
2 of them, I'll be shaking.
Really? No,
Yeah.
not me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was saying Chris bought us an espresso machine,
Yeah,
Oh.
Tony.
and I had a coffee.
You guys
should've
have any
seen the
media
sigh.
positions open? No, I'm just kidding.
I had my third coffee for the day, and Chris came in and he was like, "You want some espresso with that coffee?" I was like, "Yeah, throw it in there. That's fine, whatever."
Let's get it.
Yeah, so we're getting here to the end. So why don't you let people know a little bit more about where they can either find more about Assured Health, where they can find your videos that you're making, and where if you want to share your personal information, that's up to you.
So you can follow us on Facebook. I think it's at Assured Health Services 1 because, there was an old one and then they forgot the password. So
Yeah.
make sure it's the one. I think most of our videos are on YouTube, but we also link them to our Facebook, which that is also, I believe it's Assured Health Services on YouTube. There's a fun little, our colored emblem on it. And then you can get a hold of me through email, Andrea@AssuredHealthServicesOhio.com. I think. If it comes back undeliverable, sorry. Put a comment on the podcast and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm always available and willing to do trainings for people. Trauma-informed care, changing the language, all that good stuff.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you personally, Andrea. We worked together for some years now, and I've got to see the transition, and you just sound and look much happier in what you do in life. I
am.
And I'm happy that you were able to come on.
Thank you very much. Fun.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody, thanks for watching this episode of the Friends for Life podcast here on YouTube. If you can, help us out, go down below, hit that subscribe button. We'd greatly appreciate it. Also, if you could, go over to iTunes and leave the podcast a rating or a review. That would really help us out a lot. And check out all of our other videos. We got a ton of other stuff going on that you don't want to miss. I want to thank Andrea for coming in, sharing her stories, laughing with us, and having just a great time. If you want to learn more about Assured Health, you can head over to their website. There will be a link down below in the description. They got Facebook, they got social media. Check it all out. They also have their own YouTube channel. They're putting out great content, so go check that out as well. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.